Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is one that has been inspired by a couple of my favorite YouTubers, and it's something that I've really wanted to film for a while, and that is of what I spend in a week. So some of the things I have to tell you were shocking to even me, but that's just what happens when you actually put in some effort and track your spending. So I love watching these kind of videos. I think it is so interesting seeing what different people of different ages or in different countries and things all around the world spend their money on. So I'm going to explain what I bought, how much I spent, and what I was kind of spending it on. So there's nothing special about this week. I just was tracking a regular kind of week and seeing where it went. So this will be a great example of how much I spend as a 30-year-old living in Melbourne, Australia. So I did keep a little bit of a journal and I tried to track absolutely everything that I could. So some of the things are like direct debit or, online purchases, and other ones are, actually paid in person and stuff as well. So I've written everything down that I could, and I'm gonna preface it by saying I'm not like a big spender. Like, I do try and stick to the basics, and I kind of will sometimes go out and have like a little bit of a shopping spree or whatever, but I'm usually kind of spending on the same things. So I'm not overly frugal either. I definitely just buy things when I want them, which can be a little bit of a bad habit, but it is what it is. So let's get straight into the video and I will go through it day by day with you. And just so you know, nothing is off the table. I'll even say how much I paid for rent. So let's get straight into the video, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I put up new videos every single week. Okay, so Monday. First thing I do on a Monday morning is I go to a Pilates class, and I don't have a membership. I usually just buy like an 8-class pack. So classes cost me $20 each. I don't even want to talk about it, but it is an amazing, amazing Pilates place. So that is what I do first. Then I work full time, so I do catch the train into the city. On a Myki here in Melbourne, it costs about $7 return each day. It used to be a lot cheaper, and then it just randomly got really expensive the last few years because they kind of combined like zone 2 and 1 and whatever, anyway, just inner city things. So that is my next expense. Then about mid-morning, I go out and get a coffee. We do have a really beautiful coffee machine in the office, and I definitely could just save money and make my own, but I just love going for a walk in the city and grabbing a coffee and just getting out of the office for 15 minutes. So that is my little ritual. I could certainly cut it out if I was saving money, but my order was a large almond cappuccino, and that cost me $5.50. So I don't know where you guys are from, but the coffee here in Melbourne is incredible, but it's also very expensive. Something else that came out that day was my phone bill. So I have an iPhone 11 Plus, I think, I can't even remember now. And so I pay for the phone plus like my normal spending bill thing, and that was $107. So that always stings a little bit when it comes out. For food, I pack all of my food. I usually buy my groceries for the entire week. So I did go to Woolworths after gym in the morning, and my weekly grocery bill cost me $152.70. So usually for me, that is breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the entire week. Plus I have my partner over on Wednesday night, so I cook for both of us. So it's actually pretty affordable when you buy all your own food, if you're happy to like cook and meal prep and all of that kind of stuff. So after work, I just came home, and I probably would have just been watching Netflix or editing videos or something like that. So that is all I spent that day. Now for Tuesday, similar kind of routine for me. I'm up in the morning doing another Pilates class, so there's another $20 gone for my gym. And I also work in the office this day, so I catch the train into Flinders Street in the city, which is a really beautiful train station if you've ever been to Melbourne. So that's $7. Then I popped out and got my coffee. So that was $5 because today I got a small almond cappuccino. And some kind of admin sort of stuff came out of my account this day. So to manage my YouTube channel, I do have a couple of subscriptions to apps, and this will sound a little bit expensive at first, but it's one of those things where it's like, you know, you've got to like spend money to make money. And I just noticed in a lot of tutorials I watch, people had these tools. So I have a Dropbox subscription that is $14 a month. So that came out. I have my Canva app where I do my thumbnails and things in, so that was $18. Now, I feel like I never use all of the features of Canva because I know that there is a lot more online that you can use on the computer, but I just use it on my phone. So definitely aiming to look into that and upskill myself a bit on that over the next few months. And the last thing that came out was my Epidemic Sound subscription for royalty-free music, and that is $18 a month. Tuesday after work, I just came home. I'm pretty boring during the week because I do work so hard and I don't usually get home until about 6:30 or 7 o'clock. I kind of like to just stay home unless I've got a friend coming around or a dinner planned or something like that. So that was it for Tuesday. Wednesday, I got up and I did a boxing class at a gym. So this is just something that I was doing for 5 weeks. I just really wanted to shake up my body and get out of a little bit of a training funk that I was in. So I signed up for 5 boxing classes at 1R, which is a new gym here in Melbourne. And it is a little bit more on the expensive side, and particularly because I obviously paid for the casual classes, but that was $20 and it was so worth it because I have new boxing gloves from a brand called Sting and I got to take them and try them out, and it was so fun. And I just feel like over the last few weeks doing that, it's really changed up my fitness. So on Wednesdays, I work from home, which is really great. And so therefore I didn't have to get the train. So I saved money not needing a train ticket that day. And also because I'm not in the city, as you can see behind me in my kitchen, I do have my own stash of coffee. So I make a coffee at home to save some money on that day. And then later that day, I ended up heading out. So I had to pay for some parking, which was $5. It's actually pretty affordable to pay for parking here in Melbourne, and it's pretty rare that you have to pay for parking really, unless you're somewhere in particular in a city and you sort of have to pay for it. But a lot of the time there is like such a generous amount of like 2-hour parking spaces all around. And compared to me growing up in Sydney and living in that kind of chaos, it is just a million times cheaper to park and drive your car around Melbourne. The other thing that came out of my account was my normal gym. So I know I seem to spend a lot on fitness and things, but that is just a real hobby and a passion of mine. And I like variety as much as possible. So I used to pay just to go to Body Fit Gym, and that was like $60 a week. But now I pay for Pilates, boxing, and my normal gym, which is just like a regular 24-hour gym. And that is $12 a week. And that night my partner came over, so I just cooked us dinner and we stayed in and had a quiet night. Thursday I was back in the office, so in the morning I went to my normal gym, which I've already paid for. Then I went to a meeting and I have a huge 4-hour workshop I'm an architect, so we're doing a very complicated building at the moment, and because the meeting goes for so long, they cater it and they bring us coffees. So I didn't end up buying a coffee this day, which is great. And then on my lunch break, I ended up heading to Priceline and I bought some hairspray and some shampoo and things. And the total of that was $47. After that, in the evening, I was editing some videos and then I was just sitting in bed thinking I would like a new book. So I purchased a book on Kindle and that cost me $19. So Friday, I went to the gym in the morning, just at my normal gym that I've already paid for. Then I caught the train into work, so that was $7. And you can obviously get like a annual pass or whatever for the train, but because I now work from home on Wednesdays, it's cheaper to just load cash onto my card. So that's what I've been doing. Then I got a coffee, which was my usual large almond cap. That was $5.50. After work, I headed to the service station and got some petrol because my mum was coming to stay for Mother's Day weekend. So I was going to pick her up from the airport, so needed to head out and fill up my car. And I just have a small car, but even still the tank was pretty empty. So it ended up costing me $55 to get some petrol and fill it all the way up. Also bought a new fry pan because I wanted to make sure I could be cooking for us at home and mine was kind of ruined. So I got a new fry pan for $25 from Kmart. Saturday morning, I drove to pick my mum up from the airport, which was really exciting because I hadn't seen her since Christmas. So I did have to pay for some tolls on the way to the airport. So that was $11. Then I took us both out for a coffee at a local cafe here. So that cost me $9.50. Later that day, we had lunch together, but we actually just purchased some groceries and made that at home. And my mum generously paid for those, so it didn't cost me anything. Later, Saturday night, I had a party to go to and a pair of my pants needed to be washed. And because it is so cold here at the moment, nothing dries. So I took them up to the laundromat and it cost me $2.50 to put them in the dryer for 20 minutes and get them out all warm and toasty. And then an Uber to the party, which was $25. And everything at the party, it was beautifully catered for, so I didn't have to take any drinks or anything, and my partner paid for the Uber for us to get home. That brings me to Sunday, which was Mother's Day. I planned a beautiful picnic for Mum and I down in the local park. So we'd actually purchased that with our food from the day before. So that cost about $30 to set up, and we had all these nice things like olives and cheeses and crackers and all kinds of stuff, and it was just delicious. And after we did that, I bought us both a coffee. So that was $9.50 again for both of our coffee orders. My mum just has normal milk. I'm the only weird one in the family that ended up being lactose intolerant. So sucks for me, but I do really like the taste of almond milk now, so it's not that bad. After that, I wandered her down to the Chapel Street Bazaar, which is a really cool antique shop that's here in Melbourne. And we wandered around a little bit and I bought a small gift for her. So that was $9. And then on our way back, I dropped into my favorite local wine bar and we just got a glass of wine each, but it is a little bit of a bougie upmarket kind of wine bar, particularly around this area. So the wine, mine was $14 a glass and I think Mum's was $16. So that was $30 in total. But some of my friends came and met us, which was really nice, though we did just stay for the one drink because I'm not really a big drinker, so I'm pretty happy to just have one wine and then head off and go home. And we made dinner in, which already came out of our existing groceries, and just watched a movie on Netflix, which is my monthly subscription, but it didn't come out this week. Now, the last thing I have to tell you guys about is rent, which is maybe the one that most of you are really interested in. So I live alone. I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment here in Melbourne. And my rent every single week is $390. So I do pay that all myself, and it's only been a year, I think, since I've been on the lease and had this apartment. So before that, I was share housing and paying around $300 a week, I think. So I did wait until I got a pay rise where I knew I'd be comfortable enough at work that I could kind of afford to move out on my own and be paying a little bit more for rent. But I think it is really affordable for the area that I'm in and like how new my apartment is and the amenity that I have and things like that. So rent is definitely a personal preference. I obviously would prefer to live with my partner maybe soon in the future, and it would be a little bit cheaper because obviously as a couple, you're kind of like subsidizing each other's rent, but we'll see what happens. So that might be on the cards more toward the end of this year. But for now, I am actually really happy living alone, and it's just so nice having my own space that I can decorate in the way that I like and, I don't know, just have peace and quiet. And days like today, you know, when I'm working from home, that I can actually just really enjoy filming and doing all sorts of things and making a little bit of a mess of the space and not having to worry about someone else. Now, along with that, I also obviously pay for all of my own utilities, and those didn't come out of this week in this particular video. But if you're interested, it is obviously water, gas, electricity, and hot water, I think, gets metered separately. And also I do pay for the internet as well. So none of that came out this week, but they aren't terribly overpriced because, again, when you live by yourself, you just don't really use anything. Like my water bills these days compared to when I was share housing is like a tenth of the price. Like I genuinely have no idea what my old housemates were doing to use so much water, but it is a lot cheaper living alone, trust me. So that's it. And the grand total that I spent for this week, I'm gonna put it up here on screen because I don't even want to say it. It is quite a big number, and you know what? It was, I guess, a little bit of a different week because I did have my mum here and I was going and doing some activities with her and things like that. But it's probably not too different to my normal weekend when Jazz and I might be getting out and about and doing a few things as well. So that's just how much I spent in this random week that you guys have joined me for. And I do have a pretty strict budget, I guess, that I try and stick within the realm of. I'm not kind of someone who needs to check their bank account every day, and I'm very grateful for working myself into a position where I am pretty financially stable. But that is what I spent this week as a 30-year-old in Melbourne. So I hope you found this video interesting, and thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.